Respect shown.
Yeah, how strong he can be, but like, you might as well respect him because that was their main win condition in the game versus Istros.
Yeah, it certainly was. And also, when you saw how well FBI and Rogue were performing against BigKoro and Pallet in lane, you don't want to give them necessarily a lane that has a lot of kill pressure, and it is going to be the Jarvan, as I was talking about earlier on. I think this makes a lot of sense. It's such a key pick for BalKhan, and even if you're going to say, hey, that's, it's not maybe the most standard of picks, it was massive for Meliodas in their last matchup. It is huge for BalKhan. It is huge for his playstyle, and I do respect the pick, respect the comfort.
Definitely a strong pick there for the Bombers. Now, Hecarim available, Sylas still there as well. Those are the two big things that come to mind when I look at Phong Vũ Buffalo. Could go towards that bottom lane as well. Maybe want like the Xayah Rakan, very strong lane, especially in the laning phase.
Yeah, and they are going to be able to grab this up. I do think it's very powerful as far as team fighting goes later on too. We'll see how well BigKoro and Pallet will be able to pilot these two champions, as their team fighting was a thing of beauty against Fenerbahce.
Yeah.
Really, really critical, I would say, down the stretch, especially that 4v5 around Baron. Both Pallet and BigKoro came up huge, and these are playmaking champions. These are champions that have the ability to turn around fights, and you really can see very easily how well practiced a squad is when they are playing Xayah Rakan. Are they in sync? Are they being able to actually pull off their combos properly?
BigKoro and Pallet have played together for a very long time. Kennen and LeBlanc here, saving the entirety of the bottom lane for later on.
One of the problems I have with this is you now have the ability to actually counterpick both lanes.
Yeah.
Right? You know where these guys are going, unless it's going to be something super wacky where you're going AD Kennen bot lane or whatever, but I'm not expecting that. So now you get to actually counterpick mid lane or top lane, then still have your last pick in the draft to counterpick both solo lanes. If you are losing both solo lanes, that can be hard for a jungler.
It's going to be super hard for your jungler. And I think it comes down to that idea of the mistakes you don't realize you're making, because in the last couple of games, it felt like BalKhan was maybe a little bit more used to having winning lanes that could get priority, lanes that could come and join him. And you're not going to get that often versus Phong Vũ.
Yeah, and we'll see. Can the Bombers just kind of fight their way out of that situation anyway? The Zoe band tells me they are expecting Sylas to go top for Zeros. Certainly, this is a workable matchup, therefore Mimic, he is going to have the Kennen, very strong laner. Now you spend your bans then, if you're expecting to go top, to protect your LeBlanc. The only issue with that is then if the Sylas gets flexed mid, you have then kind of wasted your ban. So we'll see if Phong Vũ wants to go that route. They are now banning to actually protect their bot lane. You take out Lucian, a very mobile and powerful early game marksman, as well as the Morgana, who can really shut down the Rakan engages. When Rakan goes in for that grand entrance, you black shield your ally, and then you can hit a free binding because he has already told you where he is going to be.
Yeah, it kind of telegraphs exactly where he's going to go. We'll see what Phong Vũ decide to pick. It's going to be the jungle, you have to think. Meliodas could go back towards that Lee Sin. Had a very impactful game on it against Fenerbahce. It will be Lee. And now Bombers towards their bottom lane. Nothing too spicy yet. It's just an Ezreal pick for FBI, and alongside that, a Tahm Kench for Rogue.
Hey, Tahm Kench, great though, in answer to the Rakan as well. Certainly someone that can shut down the playmaking. I do think it's tough for Rakan to go for aggressive plays if your jungler is not around, simply because Tahm Kench can devour the ally and then look to turn it around with Tongue Lash, be able to set up for a good trade back. That being said, Ryze here as the flex. This could be Ryze mid or top. Ryze into Kennen can be pretty good matchup, range versus range to answer there. So it may be the flex, but we'll find out where exactly they do want to have these guys ending up. For now, it's looking like Sylas top.
Yeah, I think Sylas tends to be the one that plays Sylas on the side of Phong Vũ Buffalo. Played it 5 times in their regular season. I believe he has a 100% win record on it as well.
Not a couple games, but certainly has been more Zeros' pick. There's a lot of really powerful ultimates also here for Zeros to steal. I do think J4, the Kennen, as well as the Ezreal, those are 3 big AoE ultimates that can have huge impact in team fights. Something they're going to have to really watch out for. And for Ryoma here, empowered W from the Ryze into a Lee Sin gank is so dangerous. You have got to be really, really careful about tracking that jungler, because Ryze has such good gank assists, such an easy way to set up for a guaranteed Q.
Just locks you down with the Rune Prison pretty darn easily. Bombers fighting for their tournament lives here. Would be 1 and 3 if they lose to Phong Vũ Buffalo and unable to make it to that top spot, as Phong Vũ would be sitting undefeated at 4 and 0. It is their hometown tournament. The crowd has been on their side throughout the entirety of day 1 here, and I'm sure we'll hear many more cheers for PVB as the game goes on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team with a really high ceiling. Vietnam has been getting better and better each and every year. We have seen some of the major regions even struggling against their teams, and they certainly, if they run the table in this group, Team Liquid is going to be, taking a very hard look at them and really, going to have to give a lot of respect to this team that has looked so good here in this group of death.
Oh, you definitely do. You look just back to when they were young generation, when they were playing in Worlds last year, when they were EVOS were in MSI last year as well. Vietnam has consistently just stepped up and pushed towards being one of those major regions, trying to take out NA, trying to take out the LMS.
Yeah, and I mean, for the first time ever, we saw a major region get knocked out of a play-in with the LMS at Worlds last year. It has not happened at MSI because those are the #1 seeds. It's not the #3 seeds that are, at Worlds, but they're going for an engage.
Straight away onto the Tahm Kench. No way for Bo to get out. First blood goes over to Phong Vũ Buffalo, and they didn't even have to burn that many summoners. Only
Just
the flash
one.
out from Naul.
That was honestly great from Phong Vũ Buffalo. Just one summoner there for a level 1 first blood on your Xayah is going to feel so incredibly good. You can go back, get Longsword and an additional potion. That is such a hard lane phase now to fight up against, and here they are. Zeros looking over the wall from the side. He ease up, gets them vision, and they had no vision in the brush. They didn't have proper kind of level 1 assignments. No one is actually watching over there. They weren't expecting any sort of play like that, and that was just really smart level 1 planning there from Phong Vũ, using the E on Sylas, just get over that wall and seek him behind him.
We've seen quite a few creative level 1s across the course of the day, and as you say, very good stuff from Phong Vũ Buffalo. Zeros trading into Mimic here. Mimic with Doran's Blade first, and the Klepto should just be able to get some harass down on towards that Sylas. Don't feel like it's the most difficult lane in the world for a Kennen.
No, I mean, definitely in the early levels, you're going to always kind of favor the range matchup. Certainly, so it'd be something that he will be comfortable with. That being said, pretty strong gank assist here from a Sylas into the Kennen if you can actually hit your chain. Lee Sin does have the ability to clean that up, so it's always something you're going to have to be worried about. And they're already looking early towards Ryoma. BalKhan is here, though.
Looking for that EQ combo. Meliodas flashes forward. Ryoma ticking away, but he's not quite going to fall. BalKhan just needs a couple more auto attacks. One more is enough, and the Lee Sin falls. Bombers were having flashbacks to game 1 where Meliodas got that first blood in the mid lane.
Yeah, BalKhan read that so well. He was waiting in the side brush knowing that Lee Sin could be coming, and now he's going to be looking for a gank of his own. Remember, Naul has no flash.
No flash on Naul after that level 1. BalKhan coming in with the knock-up. No way for Naul to escape, looking for the lockdown onto BalKhan, but can't quite get it. Ryoma with the chase, just needs a couple more auto attacks here. One more will be enough, and Bombers are 2-1 up 3 minutes in.
That is massive for the Bombers. Talk about a confidence boost as you're going to be able to get both those kills here. Meliodas lying in wait, but Naul made this way too obvious, just running through the minion wave there. Allows BalKhan to come back, and Ryoma, presence of mind to drop the ignite on Meliodas before he goes out. BalKhan will clean it up, and he is here again. They're just looking for the rinse and repeat. That is teleport down for Naul. If you could get another kill here, that can be so massive, but Meliodas is in the area.
I feel like we're kind of starting to see why BalKhan was the rookie of the split in OPL, because it was game 1 where Meliodas played the Jarvan, constantly ganked mid, constantly ganked Ryoma, and now it feels like BalKhan is taking the knowledge he gained in game 1 and translating it to some leads in the early game here for Bombers.
Definitely the case. I mean, this is BalKhan at his best. This is why, as you say, he was rookie of the split, playing through that mid lane, constantly threatening, constantly looking for the 2v2, looking for aggressive plays, is the situation he wants to be in. And if you cannot get the early advantage, it's so hard to do that. But down here on the bottom side, Meliodas is looking like he wants to set up for a potential dive. This is level 3 on Tahm, Kench, and Ezreal, though. I don't think they can actually do this.
Right, Rogue used healed straight away, though. Used it before even anything really had happened in the lane, before they even taken too much damage. So PVB will just back away. Meliodas not going to go for the full dive. He didn't even have his own flash, so it would have been a very, very costly one if he had been caught out.
Yeah, I think that's, a decent play there from Rogue. He wants to make sure he gets the heal down before and potential ignite comes through for that debuff. Yes, it is the summoner down now for really not much, just a little bit of sustain, but still showing a lot of respect over to that potential dive, knowing that BigKoro is already ahead. They are being pressured heavily in this lane, and they're going to have to do their best to withstand it. But that being said, Ezreal Tahm Kench is about the kind of dream lane to just withstand this sort of stuff. This is what you pick this for, right? You go tier, you go Sheen, you take teleport, you farm it out, you farm from max range with Q, and he's going to be resetting with a pretty decent buy here, going straight into the Sheen, so he wants a little bit more laning power to match what BigKoro will have with that first blood.
It's all about just getting those small item advantages, getting back with the teleport, not losing too many CS. If they can shut down, as you say, BigKoro and Pallet from getting early leads in this bottom lane, the rest of the map is ahead for them. Mid lane has a kill, but we do see a bit of a CS lead for Naul there. It's about 12 CS up or so. Ryoma unable to answer Naul's teleport.
Yeah, I mean, the CS advantage is pretty significant, honestly, and that is something that should be closed a little bit here, as Ryoma will have some farm to pick up. Looks like he's going to try to set up a freeze, and perhaps, well, actually, I think he thought that Naul would just kind of balk at that and maybe cancel his own recall, but he doesn't end up stopping the recall. Naul has no TP, though, and the wave is frozen against him, so he will have that CS gap closing up and does have a tier buy, but either way, you know, early competitive game here so far. BalKhan is the one with the major advantage, and Meliodas has been spotted out, so he has the ability to kind of set up around this scuttle and look to try to take a fight.
The question, like, for Bombers is how well you translate this early lead, right? You have a couple of kills, you went up in the early game, you have about 1,000 gold lead across the board. You now need to keep this ticking over, keep this just building. You don't need a ton of kills to do it, you just need to chip away at those objectives, chip away in that mid lane as well as we go for the engage. BalKhan jumping in, Pallet here with the rotation from the bottom lane. Ryoma should just be able to get away, but Pallet in the right place at the right time. Teleport used top by Mimic, as Meliodas and Zeros are there. Maybe looking for the dive, but it looks like Meliodas is just going to come back and join his mid lane.
Yeah, honestly, a really nice rotation there from Pallet, being able to join him. Now they're looking to try to catch him out. He's low.
I just die. Has the flash, though. FBI! Oh! What? Okay, so I understand why you do that, because the Mystic Shot hits, and then if Ezreal flash autos you, you have to flash preempt.
For sure.
Right?
It definitely looks funny.
It looks really funny.
But it is totally understandable. You don't really know if he is going for the flash auto, and as you say, once that's in the air, that is that. I would like to see them take the opportunity, though, start up this Ocean. That is so massive if you can get it 7 minutes into the game. You push Pallet out. He has no flash. BalKhan is on this. This would do wonders for your laning phase. Ezreal would love this. So would, you know, the LeBlanc, and honestly, across the board, it even means, as the jungler, you now have no mana issues, really, for the rest of the time.
In such a good position if Bombers can get it. We talked about those small advantages, you know, just chip away. That's exactly what they're doing. Top side of the map seems to belong to PVB, though. We've seen Zeros actually proxy farming a couple of waves up there. Meliodas is all up in this jungle. The vision control's all there for Phong Vũ. But Bombers still able to get those little bits here and there.
Yeah, and in a much better position than they were in last game, right? And now it's what can you do with what you've kind of built for yourself. You can see the bottom lane still going well for FBI. He's actually up a couple farm, but very competitive down there, despite the fact that BigKoro started with first blood. So they're going to be pretty happy about that. When Tahm Kench hits 6, you're going to start to have the ability to move out to those side lanes with the Abyssal Voyage, and that is something that could really impact what Mimic and Zeros are looking to do in that 1v1. So we'll see where the Bombers want to go from here, and if BalKhan can kind of find any way to extend any advantage that he's built for himself.
The question is where for Bombers. Phong Vũ Buffalo, though, they won't be too dismayed by this. Yeah, you're 1,000 gold behind, you're a little bit behind, but it's not really too harmful at all. You've got a strong team fight, you've got Zeros on his favorite champion. You're in a very strong spot all around if you can just stem the bleeding a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of ways to kind of answer what the Bombers want to do. You know, yes, if Mimic and Ryoma want a side lane, well, great. You have Ryze and Sylas who can easily answer that. You have very strong team fighting with Desire Rakan. You have solid engage. We know that Meliodas can be an amazing Lee Sin, so this is really going to come down to execution. The lead is not that big of a deal, but certainly the Bombers are going to be feeling really good about their spot. I mean, you're 1,700 gold ahead, and you have the Ocean, which is so powerful in the early game. They're looking for a potential dive.
No 6 on Pallet. Slicing Maelstrom used from both sides in the top lane as the hijack steals it away. Zeros just trading onto Mimic. Mimic trying to get away, just about survives for the moment. The dive didn't happen in the bot lane as BalKhan is just going to back away in that bush.
Yeah, and it is Mimic just limping away. He does survive, but he is pushed so low and will likely be sent back to base here. I think you're going to get dove if you stay around against Zeros. That's why BalKhan is just running straight up towards top lane. At the same time, that poke onto BigKoro has been great, FBI has just been a monster this game.
Incredibly well this whole tournament as well. Just remember the glitter. The knockup's going to land here onto Zeros. He still has the flash. Trying to trade back in. The Kingslayer will heal him up just enough. Won't be able to get in range of the wall to flash across. And as you say, Azael, they got him in the top lane.
I mean, BalKhan was even holding onto the ultimate and had flash, right? There's no way out of that, so I think it is intelligent for Zeros to hold onto the flash. If you flash, BalKhan uses the ult to follow and cleans that up. So, you know, really well executed on both sides, I would say. Smart from Zeros to just accept the death. But that is another nice kill there for BalKhan. You can see he is going Cinderhulk. This is more of a tank-style build. Makes sense when you have, you know, damage top laner as well. You want to have some sort of front line. The stun for Mimic to set up the flag and drag, and when that lands, you know you are dead. So Zeros accepting his fate.
Yep. That's exactly what you have to do. Save that summoner for the future. Is Bilgewater Cutlass first on Mimic here? Would like to see if he goes towards that Hextech Gunblade.
Gunblade again.
Would definitely make a lot of sense. You have a lot of team fighting strength with the Cataclysm, with the Slicing Maelstrom, with the LeBlanc as well. Getting a bit of AP, and there we go. With the Revolver, it will be towards the Gunblade pallet. Jumping in here in the bottom lane, uses the quickness for the stun. Good Devour from Rogue to keep FBI from getting rooted up. And once again, we see Bombers actually coming out pretty even in the trade in the bottom lane against a lane they should be losing.
Yeah, it is a trade of summoners there. You know, they're going to be pretty happy, I think, with their position here. They have spotted out Meliodas over there, and slowly we will see FBI kind of healing back up a little bit, but it's a bit of a tempo play almost. You know, you can see Pallet trying to go aggressive, trying to put some pressure on this bottom lane, not really expecting, I think, to get a kill unless Rogue severely mismanages that, but still going to be happy about their position.
All seems happy at the moment. Slicing Maelstrom coming out from Mimic, but Zeros will just answer it. BalKhan on his way up here again. Zeros does have the flash. The knockup's going to land, but Zeros trying to trade back with the Chain Lash. Caught in the Cataclysm. Zeros will not flash away. And it's another kill in the top lane for Bombers. They're 4-1 up.
Yeah, that was sick from BalKhan. That looked to me like the flag and drag flash to actually move the knockup onto Zeros. And I think Zeros did not expect that. He is thinking, well, the flag and drag is going to miss. I can save my summoner. I can walk out. But when that lands from BalKhan, he can clean it up with the ultimate. This is multiple plates going down. The Demacian Standard, the flag there, going to give them the additional attack speed to clean up 3 plates plus the kill. BalKhan having a great game.
What a transformation for him and for Bombers across the board. Last time at 15 minutes, they were about 6,000 gold behind to Phong Vũ Buffalo. Here we see Zeros once again thinking he can take the skill checks, can take the 1v1, and BalKhan's there to answer no.
And to Zeros' credit, he was winning that, and that is the flag and drag flash there, right on top of him. Very well executed here from BalKhan, and once he gets hit by that, Zeros doesn't feel he can flash out, knowing the ultimate is still available to follow.
Zeros got a face check into this,
BalKhan's
does still have the flash, no Slicing Maelstrom. And Zeros will burn the flash, but BalKhan just in the right place at the right time. Once again, he is in the perfect position on the map.
Yeah, he really has been looking good and trying to protect Mimic in this 1v1, but Mimic is going to have to make good on the time spent up there. You know, this is a lot of investment for BalKhan. That is time he could have been farming, time he could have been elsewhere. And if you are not winning that 1v1 at some point, it does become a bit of kind of wasted resources, so to speak. Yep. So we'll see how that 1v1 continues. Because so far, when they are matched up evenly, it has been Zeros getting the advantage. It has been Zeros winning out.
I think the question always becomes when you see a jungler investing this much time on one side of the map, what have they lost on the other side of the map? They lost a couple of plates down towards this bottom lane. It's 4-1 in terms of plates in favor of Phong Vũ Buffalo. Mid, we've seen Naul pick up a plate as well. So you're sitting at about 600, 700 gold that PVB have been able to pick up that Bombers haven't through those plates.
And to be fair, you know, you do expect with First Blood already on the Xayah, Ezreal's going to get shoved in by this lane regardless. It is Tahm Kench, you know, not someone who really has a lot of pushing power. You have the kind of Gleaming Quills, you have that attack speed buff with the W from Xayah that goes on Rakan. You can push in and try to threaten some of those plates. So they're going to be okay with that for now, but it certainly is keeping the game very, very close as we see BalKhan over onto another ocean. And probably not what they wanted for the second dragon, but still is going to be nice, and they feel that they're in a position where they can force around dragon, so you want to kind of roll for the next one, see what you'll get.
I think this is like the limit of ocean drakes. This is where you say...
Well, it's number 3.
Well, if you're Bombers, you're like, okay, we'll take 2. At 30 minutes, I'll take another ocean.
Well, you'll take 3 anyway, because that's what you get.
Just get all the dragons you can. Get basically Warmog's regeneration through the ocean.
And one of the fun things I always like to kind of watch when you do see a game like this is like, yeah, would you rather have 3 Infernals? Yes.
Oh. Pallet engages there. It's just too much. The quickness just came out and Rogue wasn't able to devour his AD carry in time. Ryoma's on his way down though, Pala eaten up, gonna be spat out straight into the waiting arms of the LeBlanc. Feather Storm from BigKoro, ignited, the stopwatch in time, and Ryoma will get a double. Meanwhile in the top lane, Mimic's winning the 1v1 and BalKhan is here to party. Cataclysm comes down, but any dunk you can do, BalKhan can do better. The shutdown will come out as the Realm Warp used by Naul here. Mimic trying to dodge around as much as he can, but Meliodas is there in the right place at the right time. 2 kills for Naul.
Dunks on dunks on dunks. That was awesome. And FBI definitely going a little bit too ham down on the bot side. You know, does get punished very heavily for that dash forward, but Ryoma able to clean up there. Excellent job by him. At the same time, there's no TP, so this is going to be first turret going the way of PVB. Naul and Meliodas may be able to take this. It's going to be really close, but I think they should get it with 2 people. We'll see.
Oh, no!
Oh.
You cast to curse them, Azael.
That was like almost 1 second apart.
Yeah, one auto attack at most. Meliodas there was able to clean up. 1 kill for him, 1 kill for Naul in that top lane. We did see Bombers actually, because they took so many plates up towards the top side, were able to even out that deficit they had on the bottom side. So pretty much even gold out of plates early on. 2,000 gold the difference between the 2 teams as we get past the 15.5-minute mark. Luden's now finished on Ryoma. He's building up with a 3-0-1 LeBlanc. Got the Mana Moon, the Sheen. It's going to be Iceborne Gauntlet from FBI, which will have a lot of impact in trying to kite back some of these team fights.
Yeah, it definitely will. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you kind of want to try to slow down, kite out. That will be pretty effective. But that being said, you know, there's also a lot of magic damage over on the side between Ryze and the Sylas. So, you know, isn't going to help you out too much in that regard. We'll see if they can actually take this Rift Herald, starting it up in the face of their opponents. It is 4 members from both sides up on top. And they likely can get it.
Yeah. BalKhan's done a very good job of securing these neutral objectives so far in this game. Double Ocean, Rift Herald used as well. And it's pretty good stuff all around from the Bombers. Mimic trading into Zeros here. The Slicing Master comes out. It's answered with one of his own, and Mimic now forced away with the Chain Latch. Zeros on the chase. The 1v1 just won by the Sylas here. Will get stunned up and misses the final change. Last can't quite get the absconded. Here comes Tahm Kench. Rogue there with FBI, and Zeros trying to get underneath the tower but can't do too much. FBI gets the kill, and that's the power of Tahm Kench with rotation.
Yeah, that Abyssal Voyage so big there to come through, and Mimic barely able to stay alive in that 1v1. 0-4, but he's still winning the 1v1, honestly, against this. Kennen is pressuring him heavily. They will drop Rift mid now, and they have the mana advantage here, so should be able to walk this in and likely knock down another turret. I think there's so much credit to BalKhan, who has been doing so well with this lead, as you say, taking so many neutral objectives down, not over-forcing, right place, right time. So far, he has been really strong, and I would say this is, it feels like the most kind of push that Phong Vũ has been so far in this event.
The most challenge we've seen Phong Vũ Buffalo. This early game, very impactful from the Bombers. I think the thing about this is Mimic is still 0-1-4. Like, he's not a fed Kennen.
Yeah, he definitely isn't. You know, he hasn't been getting a lot of the kills in this regard. He's just been kind of surviving. But, you know, using the Lightning Rush forward as well as the Gunblade forward into your opponent makes it so easy for Zeros to actually get up on top of you. You know, one of the biggest advantages you're going to have in this matchup is that you are ranged. You have to kite him. You have to use the Lightning Rush, you know, away from your opponent to create distance, to use that Gunblade to create distance and try to be constantly chipping away at him, because if Sylas is up on top of you with the Aftershock procced, with that Kingslayer, you know, being used kind of at its most effective point for the execute, you're going to lose the 1v1, and that's kind of what we've been seeing.
Definitely true. The question now is for the Bombers, where do they open up the map next? There's still that top lane tower, but Naul is split pushing up there. The LeBlanc not quite big enough yet to get that second item. Mimic can't really deal with Zeros by himself in a side lane, but the ability for Rogue to be all over the map with that Abyssal Voyage can totally change the 1v1 down towards that bottom lane.
Yeah, looks like FBI maybe trying to check over at the blue buff or see if someone's around in that area. Not quite sure, as it wasn't spawned, but you know, checking over in the enemy jungle either way. I do think the next point of the map is certainly just go for the next dragon, right? You have a lot of members who are at very strong points in the game. Black Cleaver plus Cinderhulk already done. Ryoma dueling up against Naul here, but we'll have to back off. And Ezreal already on 2 items plus the Vamp Scepter, so these guys are very well online. the Bombers should be able to win a team fight at this point in the game.
Mimic and BalKhan, they were spotted going into this bush. The quickness comes out. There's a slicing Maelstrom as well. It's stolen away. Here comes Rogue, but it's all by himself. There's no one there to help him. Pallet will fall. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Mimic tries to get away. Zeros there with a chase in the chain lash. That's enough. Petricite Burst will get the kill. FBI on his way down, does have a lot of damage. Suppression comes out onto BigKoro, and it's an answering kill there. 3-for-1 so far in favor of Phong Vũ Buffalo. But Bombers don't really have a way to react anymore.
Yeah, they do get that second kill at the very least, but it is Meliodas onto the Dragon. And, you know, I thought that Rogue might have had someone in his belly when he came down with the Abyssal Voyage, but it was just him, so it was still going to be them down a man after their first one had gone down. Mimic and BalKhan were down in that area, but it was PVB with an additional member, and they were able to make the collapse and get those kills, as well as a Dragon for themselves. So, you know, evening out a lot of those advantages. Pallet, BigKoro coming down. They did not expect Zeros to be behind them. And that Abyssal Voyage, it looked like Rogue just kind of left perhaps before FBI was able to get in. Maybe a little bit of a panic move or miscommunication there. But it is 3 kills eventually going the way of PVB. Thankfully, they did pick up both Pallet and BigKoro thanks to a nice snipe at the end from FBI.
Rogue kicked into the middle of the team there by Meliodas. FBI jumps out. Rogue using the thick skin, trying to survive, but he can't do it. It's a 4v3. The rest of Bombers here to react now. Mimic does have the flash, doesn't have the slicing Maelstrom though, so won't really be looking for too much of a flank. Trades onto Naul there. Hextech Gunblade used, but Naul just has the shield from those rune charges. And the rest of Bombers will just have to retreat for the moment.
Yeah, they definitely will. And while it is just a support,
if he'd land the chains, I think he gets Naul there, but not able to do it.
Perhaps at least the Summoner, you know, it's definitely hard to know if he'll have enough to actually finish him off, because, you know, he's spent all his spells, right? But either way, nice little chunk there for Ryoma, who is, you know, quite strong at this point in the game, but it was a good pick onto the Tahm Kench from Phong Vũ. Just the support does go down, but it was at least the flash off of FBI also, so he's going to be more vulnerable. And Phong Vũ Buffalo have shown they're not afraid to actually go after FBI, despite the fact that he has this Tahm Kench behind him. Yep. They know how to actually chain their crowd control. They know how to stay on top of the Tahm Kench to try to be able to pick up FBI afterwards.
And it's part of the reason we sometimes see Tahm Kench just going for cleanse instead of a heal in the lane as well, because if you get caught in a CC, not only can you not save yourself, you can't save a teammate because you're always out of position. And Rogue here has gone for the heal. Maybe we'll see him picking up a QSS or something along those lines.
And he's going a fairly squishy build, right? He's working into the Redemption as that kind of first item there after the Sightstone. So, you know, certainly is going to be someone who can get focused down, who can get bursted down. There's a lot of damage over on the side of the Phong Vũ Buffalo. And, you know, Zeros picking up a couple kills for himself now. Already was winning out in that 1v1. You certainly expect him to continue doing so. Unless Mimic can kind of play it a little bit better.
Ryoma jumps onto Zeros there in the top lane, chunks him down to about half HP, but Meliodas and Pallet are just around the corner, waiting in the wings to see if they can find a catch. Unable to do it for the moment. That gold lead that was about 2,500 is now down to about 1.5 at most.
Yeah.
Need to see Bombers continue to utilize the lead they have. You've almost got 2 items on Ryoma. That's a big spike for him when he finishes that Morelos.
It certainly will be, but I just think that Naul's build is going to be so strong against that LeBlanc. It's so difficult to actually burst this guy down through the Seraph Shield as well as Bansheeville plus the Merc Treads. That is going to give him a lot of durability. He also went Aftershock, so if he's going forward, you can always proc that Aftershock for some more durability. And you know, Ryoma is then kind of left with some pretty difficult targets for the assassination. You want to really look towards BigKoro, but he is going to be pretty evasive with the ultimate, so we'll see how he's going to be able to actually play out these team fights. It feels like the Bombers need to do a better job controlling vision so that Ryoma can be looking for picks out of fog.
And looking for them to clear out these control wards, so keep our eyes on that vision from the Bombers. They continue to set up around this Nasher, but Naul down towards the bottom lane, pushing into Mimic pretty easily. Zeros caught out a little bit, but BalKhan charmed up, pops the Cataclysm into the stopwatch. The Redemption comes out as well. It's a 3v4 in favor of Phong Vũ right now. BalKhan actually spat out. FBI almost goes down, survives for such a long time. BigKoro jumped in, he'll get one, but he'll be taken out as well. And now Zeros has caught in 4 members of the Bombers. Stunned up, nowhere for him to go. It's a double for Mimic, and the Bombers find a massive team fight in the river.
Yeah, and that was huge fight from Rogue, buying so much time. BalKhan into the stopwatch, gets devoured up by the Tahm Kench, saving him, and then they try to commit more on FBI, and this may be a bit much. I don't know that they have the actual damage to do this. Meliodas is around, and
there's no vision for Bombers across that wall either. Ryoma's going to try and get Meliodas to ignite the chain. If that chain had procced, it would have been enough.
Yeah, but Naul is right there, and he knows he's going to need to kind of back off, but here comes BalKhan.
BalKhan misses the EQ combo. Naul dodging for his life. The teleport coming in as well, but there's the slicing Maelstrom, and Naul down to half HP already. He's stun locked. No way for him to get out. The shutdown comes out, and now Bombers just going to start it up once again. FBI does it, but the rest of the team says no. They back away. They'll settle for the kills they have. They can reset and come back towards that big objective.
I mean, look how hard it was to actually take down Naul, though. Yeah. There was 4 people
hitting
him.
A long time.
Aftershock Ryze with the passive shield, plus the Seraphs is so tough to burst down. I don't think the Bombers were ever going to be able to kill the Baron there, to be honest. They didn't have enough damage around to actually do it. And they should reset for this Mountain Dragon. I think that's going to be the next target. Here's the play one more time. BalKhan just going forward. They didn't have any vision, so this was a pretty risky play. Drops the ult, goes into the stopwatch, then follow Rogue. Eats him out last second. They're saving him. But then PVB make the call. Hey, commit fully onto FBI. Take him out. They know the Devourer is down. But that being said, Mimic comes in. Ryoma goes down. And your Xayah flash ulted onto the Ezreal. The 2 solos are there to just burst you out, and now it is going to be Bombers who made the reset. They're on this Mountain Dragon, and that can help them to set up around that Baron. When you have double Ocean plus the Mountain Dragon, not only can you constantly attempt that with very little cost because you have that regen to constantly heal back up afterwards, you also have the ability to straight turn and burn it down.
Big thing for them is, of course, Mimic doesn't have his teleport right now, whereas Zeros does have his. So you need to have Mimic actually pushing the wave and coming up, otherwise you're going to be in a 4v5 situation. Alongside that, a couple of minutes ago, we talked about Vision Azael. And what I haven't seen yet from Bombers is those deep wards, is that little step into the jungle of PVB, because that's how you really set up a Baron. If you want to be able to force the enemy into Fog of War, into darkness, you need to be stepping a little bit further and getting those wards in the jungle. Yeah,
I mean, you really want to be seeing pinks in their inventory across the board. Like look at Phong Vũ Buffalo. Pinks in literally every inventory. Look at the Bombers. Yeah, there's not a single pink, right? Like this is how can you expect to actually win the vision battle around the Baron if they are just outspending you essentially in that battle, right? They have 2 pinks in the area, but if those get cleaned out, that is going to be that. So the Bombers need to invest more heavily into that. You need to have a pink, in the pit, 1 in the pixel, 1 outside the pit even. Yeah. That ward you can see clearly by the Baron pit, just at the top of your screen on the scoreboard is actually not spotted out. So Phong Vũ certainly are going to be fully aware of any attempts the Bombers make, and that incomplete vision control is something that is going to make it much more difficult, not only for them to start up the Baron, but also for Ryoma to find the picks that he needs.
Definitely is. Phong Vũ Buffalo fighting back once again, still undefeated in this group, of course, looking to make their scoreline 4-0. Bombers fighting for their lives in the tournament. They have to win this if they're going to stay in. Pallet jumps forward, great devour there from Rogue. Redemption comes out, Falcon's going to lock them all underneath the tower with the Cataclysm, and Pallet falls, and Phong Vũ Buffalo went in, but maybe they were a little bit too greedy. BigKoro pulls the Featherstorm back, the slicing Maelstrom, the 3-man stun. Bombers explode all over Phong Vũ Buffalo. They take down 2, and they only lose their mid laner, but the re-engage from Zeros. FBI is down, and Bombers can't do much about it. Phong Vũ Buffalo find the fight they need. They take down 3 members of the Bombers, and now they can push down mid to continue this gold lead.
Yeah, Phong Vũ Buffalo, it looked like they were losing the fight, but they spent all of their ultimates, all of their resources to get those initial kills. And then Zeros walks in full health, level 16, and he crushes through the fight. BalKhan is out on the map. If he gets caught, that's going to be Baron.
Yeah.
And he is now spotted out. I think BalKhan is going to be dead here.
EQ's across, but Zeros is waiting for him.
That might be the mistake that cost the Bombers the game here. This fight in the mid lane, your jungler is now down. Phong Vũ Buffalo can head straight to that Baron. They're pinging onto it. BigKoro is running over here. And it's going to be up to the 4-man squad of the Bombers to try to make a miracle play.
Can you do it? Zeros has the teleport to join his team if he needs to. There it goes, in towards the river bush. Phong Vũ Buffalo still on the Baron. Bombers in darkness, 8,000 HP. There's the quickness, Pallet taken low, but Zeros is on the back line. Rogue gobbles up FBI, trying to get him out. He'll be kicked away. Rogue actually saved for the moment. Ryoma jumping forward. They take down only the support. Only the Tahm Kench has gone down, and FBI is still raining it down damage. Ryoma and FBI teaming up to take down the key carries, and FBI is on the chase, jumping forward.
Ryoma still has his flash. He's looking for more. Can they chase him down?
Ryoma looking for BigKoro here. Doesn't know if the Feather Storm's down. Double Distortion gets the Feather Storm out, flashes away from it. Pallet falls. Meliodas is there trying to clean up, but Ryoma, not the one underneath the tower. He's the other one as Meliodas shut down. The Bombers in a 4v5, fighting for their tournament lives, somehow take out and ace the undefeated Phong Vũ Buffalo.
FBI and Ryoma, are you kidding me? These guys just had the fight of their lives. That was absolutely incredible. FBI and Ryoma just working so well, coordinated so well to be bursting down these targets, chasing down their opponents, protecting each other in those moments of vulnerability. They get the mid lane tier 2, they get a delayed ace and the Baron, and they now have the tools they need to try to close out this game. And here is the initial pick back over onto BalKhan. Phong Vũ make a nice collapse. They're anticipating everywhere he could possibly go. They burst him down, and you're thinking, this has got to be their Baron. But watch how Ryoma is playing out this team fight, dodging out on the Rakan engage. Then you can see FBI flashing back over the wall. Ryoma goes in. Look at that AoE from the double distortion hitting 3 members from the Phong Vũ Buffalo. That is what is lighting them up. And then FBI on point with the skill shots. Ryoma constantly dipping back into Fog, jumping back out with the distortion, and they are able to chase them down for even more kills. That was honestly some of the best LeBlanc team fighting you will see.
I mean, FBI just hitting every shot as well. The FBI wants to know your location if you're doing the Baron, because they will catch you out. And then at the end, cleaning up Meliodas as well. They turn it around, they get the Baron, they even get mid-tower out of it. This is incredible stuff from Bombers. You have to give them credit, because the moment before, when BalKhan was caught, I was like, this is done. The game is over. Phong Vũ have won it now. You know, Bombers, you put on a good fight, but look at that. 4,000 gold ahead now, getting their 4th dragon of the game in this Mountain Drake. And they have the ability to push up for 2 more minutes with this Baron power play.
Yeah, that was honestly so impressive. And now the question is, can you close out? Because we did see Bombers, you know, in the OPL getting enormous leads. And when you look back to their finals against Order, even with 10,000 plus gold leads, they sometimes struggled to close out. They were not always the cleanest team from an advantage, and we'll see, can they play with patience? Can they do all their due diligence, clean out vision, take away the opponent's jungle, slowly kind of check all those boxes? Because if you get over-eager, Phong Vũ can punish you. They certainly can still win a team fight here, and you can see Zeros threatening from the side.
That's the thing. Like, we've already seen Zeros win a team fight through a flank earlier on. You have to keep your eyes on him. Has the Ludens, has the Morello, has the Proto Belt. Now, inhibitor line is going to be broken. Bombers will take the first inhib of the game, the first inhib of the tournament. Oh no, I was going to say of the tournament, but they beat Isurus earlier on, so they've definitely taken inhibs already.
On the tournament against Phong Vũ.
Against Phong Vũ, yes.
So they are going to be able to head over to mid lane now. They have the waves set up pretty well. Looks like some of them may reset, but either way, FBI going to be pushing this up. He's almost full build now. The Hex Shrinker still can be upgraded, but a fairly defensive build for him. It's going to be so hard to take him down, not only because of the Tahm Kench, who now has Locket and Redemption, but also you have to get through the GA, you have to get through the Maw Shield, the armor added in here as well from the Iceborne. It's going to make him quite durable, and we've seen how much damage he can put out. Ryoma as well is at such a strong point in the game, and Mimic is closing in on his death gap, so they have a lot of the pieces that they would need to try to close this one out.
Oh, Meliodas jumps in, kick back onto Rogue with the Devour already on the Ezreal. FBI going to try and get out of this one as Redemption comes out. The Charm, the Lockdown, double Cataclysm. It's a fight in the jungle, and perhaps a fight for Phong Vu's lives. Slicing Maelstrom's going to rip it through the backline. Double stun lands. Ryoma takes down Zeros, and now he can continue to jump forward. The true shot for us from FBI. The triple kill for Ryoma. He's looking for the Quadra. BigKoro forced underneath this tower, but Bombers could just end the game here and now. BigKoro goes golden. That's the only gold medal you're getting this game, my man. Ryoma gets the Quadra kill, and Bombers are going to take down the undefeated Phong Vũ Buffalo. Bombers are going to keep themselves alive in this tournament, and Bombers are going to show us why everyone in Oceania hyped them up just so much.
They have blown this group wide open. It is now anyone's to take. Phong Vũ Buffalo knocked down here against the OPL representatives, and they have now well and truly arrived here to MSI. Ryoma, he just hard carried that game. That was monstrous from him in the later stages, and that is not an easy team to team fight into when there is so much CC. There's a Ryze to lock you down. There's the Rakan to CC you up. He was constantly finding windows to attack the opponents, and really, really impressive game from the Bombers.
Before the game, we said, if Bombers are going to win, every single player has to step up. Well, that's exactly what happened. Mimic had a great game on the Kennen. Those ultimates absolutely on point. Ryoma on the LeBlanc.
BalKhan's early game was fantastic.
FBI in those teamfights. Rogue with the Devout. Oh, every player on that team showed why they deserve to be at their first international tournament.
They certainly did. That was really, really impressive stuff from them. And this is, you know, a team that does seem to have learned a lot from the first round robin, right? This is the thing. You can watch these teams, try to have your coaches and analysts finding weaknesses that they have shown.
Well, we're going to have another look at that Baron ace that Bombers got. The game-changing moment for them. Last time we focused on Ryoma. This time, let's focus on whoever you want to focus on. Everyone.
It's Ryoma again. He was incredible. I mean, it really was all about that double distortion.
Yeah.
The mistake here from Phong Vũ was how heavily they dogpiled onto FBI. They were trying to kill off Ezreal as he came out of the Tahm Kench, but the problem with that is you're grouping up for an already very, very strong LeBlanc. Ryoma finds his opportunity. It's the double distortion forward, nailing multiple members. Then even this, flashing to the side to avoid the pullback and still land your chains there on pallet. This team fighting between FBI and Ryoma was absolutely incredible. Those were the men of the match for me, and really, really impressive stuff from them. But as you said, all of the Bombers members did step up, and they were able to kind of, you know, pick BalKhan up after he got, you know, gave up that kill, which looked like it could have closed the game. It could have given the Phong Vũ Buffalo everything they needed.
And the thing is, Phong Vũ Buffalo didn't play poorly. Like, this was still a strong Phong Vũ Buffalo performance. It's just Bombers on the day were better, or in the second half of the day, I guess, because, of course, they lost earlier on. Our player of the game is FBI on that Ezreal. I think it's a close one between him and Ryoma. I give it to FBI because I think throughout the entire game, he was maybe a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I think it can go either way. Both of these guys played so incredibly well. Both of them really should be proud, and we're going to get to hear from Ryoma after the break. And, you know, that will be an interesting interview to hear his thoughts on it. He's got to be so excited because now you really have to feel like, hey, we could actually do this. They're only one game behind the Phong Vũ Buffalo. They're one game. They're actually tied with Fenerbahce. They were, I guess, maybe half a game behind. They have extra loss, but still in a really good position. All